Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How are you guys all doing? Hope you're all doing well. My apologies for starting a bit later. 2 minutes off the mark. It's not like me normally to be this bit late, but yeah, there are one or two things literally come up. Literally the last few minutes before I could start, I was like, oh, don't need that. So yeah, I had to scramble to do all those bits, but we're okay there. Welcome to the Snowflake's Corner, episode 66, where we cover news from outside the UK. It's gonna be a bit Trumpian, not gonna lie. The 6th of May, 2025 at 6 p.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you're on Twitch, make sure you hit that follow button and the bell notification icon to be notified when I go live. If you're here on YouTube, hit the like, share, and subscribe as well. And feel free to say hello in either chats down below, as they are both visible to be seen. Jao, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well, buddy, as well. And apologies for not getting round to comments as well. I am overdue. I want to apologize as well for not responding to members' comments on videos. I am behind, very much behind on my comments on them. That is something I will intend to go through either tonight or tomorrow. One of the two I intend to do. Just out of a reference as well, I'm just going to point this out there as well. I'm not going to do a live stream tomorrow morning while also covering Prime Minister's questions and doing a live stream in the evening. It's there's just so many other things I've got to chase up, and it's just, while also trying to maintain some level of fitness as well, I want to maintain as well. So no, there won't be there will not be a live stream in the morning, guys. So I do apologize. There won't be a good morning show there, but it will be one. There will be, obviously. I'll be back on Thursday with the good morning. It'll probably be another UK one probably there, but we'll see. Right, so let's get started, guys. So it's still kind of happening as we're talking, but I wanted to share at least this clip with you guys from the Mark Carney's visit to the White House, which is literally happening as we speak. They've had some discussions publicly already, and there's already been questions being put to them by the press. So unfortunately, I may try and get some clips tomorrow, possibly for Snowflake Watch on that as well. But I wanted to share this clip out of all the clips because I think this one really kind of sums things up as well about where the Canadian Prime Minister stands in regards to the sale of Canada. So Mark Carney said to Donald Trump, "There are some places that are never for sale. Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign, it's not for sale, and it won't be for sale ever."
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. We have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership, and I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
That's true. And they have.
I like that. Saying it literally right to his face, I think, is pretty powerful statement. And Trump's reaction was a bit of a smirk, and his head face down, looking at the ground when Carney, Mark is putting this to him. Like literally, like saying this straight to his face, and it's just like, I did see a clip of a press reporter. I didn't have time to get it ready for you guys, but there was a press reporter asking what's next, basically, for the Trump administration now that that is basically you're not going to be able to buy Canada. And Trump's response was basically, we'll see, as in things can change. Yeah, very 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 awkward. But yeah, we're gonna just show that bit. Where is it? where is it when he's proper? You can where he's proper looking down here. Where this, I think this was the bit where he wasn't looking for sale. And you could see he's smirking there, like just constantly staring at the floor. Yeah, it's not for sale basically. But like I said, I'll probably try and grab some more clips tomorrow evening for it. But it's literally happening as we literally been happening as we speak, guys. But I want to get at least that one for you guys there. But very, very interesting to say the least there. Rosemary, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Good to see you here tonight. Hope you are well. Alston Keir, good to see you there. Just seen this on the Bin Pod. Hold on, chat. Just seen this on the Bin Podcast. Bin Podcast. Oh, nice. Good to see you, Keir. Hope you're doing well, buddy. So we'll come back to more on Trump later because there's quite a lot of stories that I have on Trump. But I wanted to share that one with you guys because it is quite a big one. What's also quite big as well is a very horrifying situation that's happening in the Middle East, as you guys know. But things have taken a turn for the worst. So Israel has vowed to escalate the war with a new plan to conquer Gaza. So their plans are to not just to they have no intention. This current this Israeli administration, the current prime minister and his cabinet, have no intention of leaving Gaza in any way, shape, or form. They have not ruled out. For some reason, I just felt like I was hearing my voice there for a second. They have not ruled out the annexation of the Gaza Strip, but their intention is to occupy it and to force displacement of the Gaza people. Now, from what I read in this reading, and obviously I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, where are the millions of people of Gazan people going to go if you're going to force them out? Because that's the question here. They're also looking to do, which I covered in I think I've covered in a Rumble video that'll go out, I believe either today or tomorrow. I said I wasn't going to do Rumble on Patreon, but I couldn't help myself, guys. Sorry. Israel also have said that they do not want the United Nations distributing the aid and humanitarian aid, food and supplies to the Gazan people anymore. And they want it to be done by American companies, which is obviously, considering the situation that's happening on the ground, considering the Trump administration, its position, I don't trust American companies to do so. And it should be an international organization that should be doing it, not some American companies doing it. So a bit of an odd one for that remarks there as well. So the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the population of Gaza will be displaced to the south after the Security Cabinet approved an expanded military operation in the enclave. Their minister describes the plan to conquer the territory, and it's just like you've decimated everything. What more needs to be decimated? The vote on Sunday came hours after the military said it would mobilize tens of thousands of reservists, strengthen its capacity to operate in the besieged Palestinian territory. One thing will be clear: there will be no in and out. Netanyahu said on a Monday video message posted on X. We'll call up reserves to come, hold territory. We're not going to enter and then exit the area, only to carry out raids afterwards. That is not the plan. The intention is the opposite. There will be a movement of the population to protect them, Netanyahu said of the intensified operation. A senior Israeli security official earlier said the Operation Gaza, called Gideon's Chariots, was unanimously approved by the Security Cabinet with the aim of subduing Hamas and securing the release of all the hostages. The plan will be implemented after US President Donald Trump a visit to the Middle East next week to provide the window of opportunity for a hostage deal, the official added. If no hostage deal is reached, Operation Gideon Chariots will begin with full force and will not stop until all objectives are achieved. The plan then is to displace Gaza's entire population to the south of the enclave, following which the total blockade of humanitarian aid may be lifted, the official said, adding that the military will remain in every area it captures. So this is basically they're going to basically cut Gaza in half and say you guys aren't coming back in here. And then what you're going to do, basically, is squeezing them all into an even smaller, densely populated area, is what they are doing. Yeah, they are starving them out of Gaza. Yeah, they are starving them. Everyone knows this, but no one's doing anything about it, which is the heartbreaking thing about all of this. In any temporary or permanent agreement, Israel will not evacuate the security buffer zone around Gaza, which is intended to protect Israeli communities to prevent arms smuggling to Hamas, the official said. We are on the eve of a major entry into the Gaza based on the recommendations of the General Staff, Netanyahu said in his video message. And in that, military officials told him it was time to start the final moves. The highest goal of the expanding operation in Gaza, according to the military's top spokesperson, Brigadier General Ifi Different, is returning the hostages, not defeating Hamas. His comments come just a week after Netanyahu said the war's supreme goal is the defeat of Israel's enemies and not the return of hostages. The top goal of the operation is the return of the hostages. After that, the collapse of the Hamas rule is defeat and its subjugation. But first and foremost, the return of the hostages, the France said, responding to a question about his messages to hostages' families. The military spokesperson faced swift condemnation from Israel's National Security Minister, Ishmael Ben-Gvir, who said Defren was confusing into thinking that the army is above the political equation. Hostage families were quick to condemn the announcement of the expansion of the war, fearing that the Israeli government is prioritizing the defeat of Hamas over securing a deal to return the Israeli hostages and endangering them through the expanded military operation. If Hamas will not hesitate to kill them all. If Hamas are going to lose everything, they're going to just execute those hostages. They're just going to execute those hostages. They have nothing to lose, Hamas. After the US approves of the new Israeli plan, National Security Council spokesperson Brian Hughes told CNN, the president has made it clear the consequences Hamas will face if it continues to hold hostages, including American Eden Alexander and the bodies of 4 Americans. Hamas bears sole responsibility for this conflict and the resumption of the hostilities. Hamas do bear responsibility for what happened on October the 7th, but they don't bear sole responsibility for the reaction that Israel that the Israeli government have conducted themselves in this. Hamas said on Tuesday that Israel's plan represents a clear vision to sacrifice hostages in the Strip. He also reproduces the cycle of failure Israel began 18 months ago, without achieving any of its declared goals. The militant group said in a statement, adding that Hamas will not be intimidated by the Israeli military's threats and plans. Meanwhile, Israel's far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich said on Monday that we are finally going to conquer the Gaza Strip. Annexing Gaza is a possibility, and once the military expands its operation in the enclave, it will not pull back even if Hamas agrees to a new hostage deal, he said at a conference in Jerusalem, referring to the Security Cabinet's decision on Sunday. Once we conquer and stay, we can talk about sovereignty over Gaza, but I didn't demand that it be included in the war objectives, he added. Once a maneuver begins, there will be no withdrawal from the territories we captured, not even in exchange for hostages. So, completely ignoring international law, completely ignoring the fundamental rights of the Palestinian people's homes and livelihoods here, just completely ignoring them in all of this. This is to try and slowly whittle the numbers down. This is to turn Gaza, to whittle down Gaza even small, rather than taking the whole thing. Basically, they're basically going to decrease the amount of land mass that Palestinians have even smaller, to a point where it's not going to be able to be feasible. Because one thing that Israel cannot do is they have nowhere to send them to. No country is going to take them, those people. There's no the neighbors will not take them. So where are they going to? They've got nowhere to send them, unless Turkey agrees to take them all. But I don't know if Turkey would be willing to allow 1.8 million Palestinians. Like, I don't know how they're going to do that. Smotrich primarily handles the country's finances, but he sits on the security cabinet and holds significant sway over Netanyahu, who relies on his support to keep the government from collapsing. More than 2,400 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since mid-March, when Israel launched its wave of deathly cash, shattering a ceasefire, which has been in place for nearly 2 months, and more than 52,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the war began, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. The expansion of the fighting will be gradual to give a chance of renewed ceasefire and hostage deal release before US President Donald Trump visits the region in mid-May, the officials said. Trump is scheduled to visit Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar next week, but there is currently no stop planned in Israel. UN raised concerns with the latest expansion plan, saying it would lead to more civilians being killed. Of course it will. I can tell you that the General Secretary is alarmed by these reports of Israeli plans to expand ground operations and prolong its military presence in Gaza. Deputy spokesperson for the Secretary General, Fatih Haka, told reporters on Monday. The French Foreign Minister, Jean-Noel Barrot, strongly criticised Israel's plan, calling it not acceptable in a radio interview on Tuesday morning. The urgent need is obviously the ceasefire, but also unhindered access for humanitarian aid. The Palestinians living there are massively lacking humanitarian aid from the Gaza Strip. And then there's the release of the Hamas hostages, of course, Barrett said on RTL radio. China also said on Tuesday it was highly concerned about the developments. China opposes Israel's ongoing military actions in Gaza and hopes all parties continuously and effectively implement the ceasefire agreement and return to the right track for a political resolution on the issue. Foreign spokesperson Lin Zheng told a news briefing. I'm glad that China are just as concerned about the rest of us, but what actions will... But they're not going to take any actions on it. At least I don't think they will there. Good evening, Mr. E. I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Thank you for that. Thank you for your support to the Democratic Penguins Republic and for Pingu and the Penguins Army. It is much appreciated. It is much appreciated. Pingu is extremely grateful for the support. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to. I don't like countries calling it, condemning it. It's just no one really doing anything. The only one that has power to do anything is America, and we know where America stands. An Israeli blockade of all humanitarian aid into the Strip is now in its 9th week. 9 weeks, guys. Israel said it's cut off the entirety of humanitarian aid to pressure Hamas to release hostages. But international organizations said the actions violate international law and risk creating a man-made famine, with some accusing Israel of using starvation as a weapon of war, a war crime. Yeah, of course it is. That's exactly what it is. The cabinet also discussed allowing the resumption of aid deliveries into Gaza under a new framework which was approved, but has not yet been implemented according to one of the sources. Israel's public broadcaster Can 11 reported that a confrontation had broken out during Sunday's meeting over the resumption of aid deliveries with two far-right members on the cabinet. National Security Minister Ishmael Ben-Gvir and Settlement Minister Ora Strux opposed to any resumption of aid, and Israel Defense Forces Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Isgal Amir arguing Israel was obliged to facilitate them under international law. No, you are not. That's not what it says under international law. You don't have a right to cut off water, aid, and food to innocent people. You don't have a right to do that. There's no right for you to do that. It's inhumane, it's immoral. There's no right in any of this. They don't have any international legal right to do what they are doing. Same in the West Bank, what they've been doing in the West Bank. They have no legal right to do what they're doing. But they're doing it anyway because nobody's doing anything about it. And no one's doing any... There's no sanctions, there's no repercussions for Israel. No one's doing anything about it. They do not have the legal right to do what they are doing. Thank you, Alistair Kidd, for the £2 super chat. Oh, how the DPR. We need the Democratic Penguins Republic to get in there and save the Palestinian people. According to one of the sources who spoke to CNN, the Israeli media reports about the arguments over the aid are not wrong. The United States and Israeli officials are discussing a mechanism to deliver aid to Gaza that bypasses Hamas. An Israeli source familiar with the matter and a State Department official told CNN. The official said an announcement could be made in the coming days. Coming days? Some of them don't have a day. Some of them don't even have hours left. Delivery mechanism. And that's only whatever they announce. The delivery mechanism in the works was intended to allow aid to reach the Palestinian population with safeguards to ensure it was not diverted by Hamas or Islamic Jihad, according to a State Department spokesperson. An unnamed private foundation would manage the aid mechanism and deliver the humanitarian supplies into Gaza, as the spokesperson said. The US expects the United Nations and international aid organizations to work with the framework of the foundation's mechanisms and ensure that supplies do not reach Hamas, the spokesperson said. In a statement on Monday, Hamas criticized the new framework, saying, "We reject turning aid into a tool for political blackmail and supporting the international position that rejects any arrangements that do not represent humanitarian principles." Aid agencies working for the occupied Palestinian territory also rejected the new framework on Sunday, saying that the plan appears designed to reinforce control over life-sustaining items and would fail to ensure aid reaching Gaza's most vulnerable residents. UN's Secretary General and the Emergency Relief Coordinator have made it clear that we will not participate in any scheme that does not adhere to the global humanitarian principles of humanity, impartiality, independence, and neutrality, the group said in the joint statement. This is absolute bollocks from the US and the IDF here. This is to try and trying to make it as difficult as possible. Trying to make it as difficult, if not impossible, for these people to get the food and aid they need. This is the thing. Like the United Nations are supposed to be impartial and immoral, but the thing is that the framework that they want to put it around, it's to try and stop Hamas getting anything, and it's just like the system they had was fine. I just don't buy any of this at all from them. I really, really do not, guys. To me, the only attitude to cancel visas to all Israelis into Europe, to boycott all imports from Israel, and to block all exports into Israel. And they have no business being in European cultural and sporting events, says Jow. That is quite a massive boycott. The problem is that they have political influence. As much as they have political influence, they have organizations, they have groups in many different governments within Europe, and the European Union are not going to criticize Israel that much. Even though Ursula von der Leyen knows what Israel are doing are wrong, the European Union knows what's doing are wrong. They're not going to do it. They're going to sit. They're going to turn their eyes away from what's happening here. They are turning literally their eyes on this because they don't want to criticize Israel. They really don't want to. But it's not collective punishment or genocide, according to Sir Kid Starver. Yeah, apparently he didn't really finish up his law work, his law training on that one. Israel can compete with its neighbours and enter their sporting and cultural events. They're in Middle Eastern and not European, says Jow. Yeah, I get how you feel about it. I really do, but I just don't see anything. Yeah, I just don't realistically see anything happening with that, I'm afraid. Going back to America. Apparently, President Donald Trump wants to be known as the fertilization president. Yeah, you heard me what I said. Critics say Trump's baby bonus proposal won't address the real problems parents face. So Democrats have questioned whether the proposals, including a one-time $5,000 payment for having a baby, would have a substantial impact on the financial challenges of parenthood. So one of the one crisis that's taking place is obviously growth population. It's actually declining in America, and one of Trump's ways of dealing with that is offering people money to basically say go make more babies, basically. And this is his way of doing so, because one thing America relies on a lot of immigrants. And obviously this Trump administration, and Trump in particular, they do not want to be relying on immigrants. They want everything done in-house. They want everything done by Americans, for Americans, all thing Americans. So his way of solving the birth crisis is basically put money in front of people and saying, go make babies and we'll give you money, the government. This is his way of trying to fix that. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't think this is going to work. Yeah, I'm glad I don't watch football anymore. But yeah, USA hosting the World Cup next year is pretty darn distasteful. And Trump's going to trigger people he's going to trigger people in some way. So he's going to say things that will trigger the rest of the world. and I don't know how they're going to host it with the way that they're dealing with immigration immigration right now. I'm not sure how they're going to deal with that. It's going to be very problematic indeed. So yeah, President Donald Trump's administration is exploring ways to increase the country's birth rate, with the president himself saying he wouldn't mind being known as the fertilization president. But congressional Democrats and activists say Republicans have long overlooked the growing cost of having and raising children in ignoring policy solutions that are readily available. If you want to encourage families to have children and be serious about it, then you would work to lower costs, build economy security for families. Republican Rosa DeLando, an 18-term Democrat from Connecticut and a leading prominent and a federal family leave program, told NBC News. Yep, that's it. If you want people to have more babies, you need to put them in an environment where it's financially feasible for them and it's comfortable for them. This is why me and my partner are in the situation we are in, because the environment is not possible for us to have a home. It's just not possible. The fertility, that's here in the UK. The fertility rate in the US has declined overall since 2007, hitting a historic low in 2023, before plateauing the following year, according to data from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. But birth rates are declining globally, not just in the US. New York Times reported in April that some policy pitches are being made to the Trump administration to encourage women to have more babies, to include giving mothers $5,000 in cash after they give birth, and government funding classes on menstrual cycles. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy sent a memo this year ordering the department to prioritize funding for communities that have higher birth rates and marriage rates. A senior White House official confirmed to NBC News that the administration is encouraging people to have babies, saying that's what we talked about during the campaign. I don't remember much talk about talking about making babies during the campaign. Maybe I was listening to quite a lot of the campaign sort of things, but I don't remember a slogan like "Let's make babies" or anything like that. That's the only way the USA soccer team will win the World Cup, Reganelite, if other countries boycott it. The professional footballers will not have an issue getting in. It's fans getting is going to be the issue. It's very weird to be saying that, because I remember when Russia hosted the World Cup, everyone was worried about that. And that was actually a really good tournament. It was all done very, very well, all things considered, when you take the politics out of the World Cup. It was actually a very good World Cup hosted by Russia, for all things considered. Asked at a White House event that the proposed baby bonus, Trump told reporters that it sounds like a good idea to me. So it's not even like, again, this once again reinforces the emphasis that Trump has no control and he has no say on anything that goes on. It's like it's the first time he's been told about this idea. Representative Christine Holligan, a co-chair of the bipartisan House Paid Family Leave Work Group, said the efforts would be laughable if it wasn't so sad. Vicky, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. He's an absolute imbecile. Sorry, got in there again. Many of us are marching. Yes, I saw some of the marching over the weekend. Some of the weekend. Great stuff there for independence. Sean Warren, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well as well. Instead of one-time payments, expanding the child tax credit, which provides long-term tax breaks for some parents, would be a more reliable way to help families, said Republican Jimmy Gores, or D. California, of the Congressional Dallas Dad's Kansas. Jesus, what's wrong with me today? Apologies. It is a bit chilly. I do apologize. Most costs are not one-time costs, and when it comes to a kid, they're ongoing every single month. Gomez said, the child tax credit, if it was advanceable, that means if it was paid monthly, it would have a huge impact on families. Now, Trump wants to just give you a one-time payment and basically say that's it. The rest is on your own. Trump and this Trump administration, they don't want to give you money. They want the money for themselves. If you want to have money, their position is, no, you've got to go out there and make that money. You've got to go and put the effort in. We're not going to put the effort in for you. You've got to go out there and make the effort. Gomez pointed to census data and care.com report that showed that the median household cost as a percentage of income was 31% for renters and 21% for homeowners in 2024. And meanwhile, parents on the average spent 29% of their savings on childcare costs the same year. But the $2,000 annual child tax credit approved under Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is set to expire at the end of the year, with the credit dropping to $1,000 for each qualified child. Oh dear. A group of Senate Democrats introduced a proposal last month to expand the credit to $6,360 annually for newborns, with the credit gradually lowering to $3,600 for children aged 6 through 17. With Republicans controlling Congress, the bill faces strong headwinds, with some senior Republicans, though, have signaled a willingness to raise the child tax credit in other ways as they consolidate plans to pass a major tax bill this session. I don't know if they have the real appetite to do as Gomez said of the Trump administration, because solutions are there. Like, people have been discussing them for a long time. They're not new. And if they were serious about it, then they would look at these solutions. Yeah, why not just stick with the child tax credit, you know? But, like I said, they don't like handing out money to people. Erin Eidenberg, the CEO and co-founder of Chamber of Mothers, a non-partisan, non-profit group that advocates for maternal and parental rights in the US, said her organization is hearing that women cannot afford to have children today. No, they can't. This is not a cultural crisis. That's a policy failure, she said. Parenthood doesn't need to be incentivized. It needs to be supported in every step of the way. Exactly. If you want people to have babies, you got to look after them. You know, it's the state's got to make sure that they are given every step of the way to do so. Roger Devine, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Eidenberg went on to list 3 policy proposals her group believes would invite motherhood, a federal paid leave program, investment in maternal health, and access to affordable childcare. In a statement, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said President Trump is proudly implementing policies to uplift American families, from securing all the borders to keep violent criminals out of our communities to lowering taxes and the cost of living. The wider question whether the Trump administration is serious about its plans to encourage women to have more children, citing other plans of his agenda, and she said it would hurt families. One has to take a look at some of the proposals that are barriers to encourage women to have more children. Families to have more children, DeRollo said, pointing to the House Republicans' efforts to pass a reconciliation bill that could cut $880 billion from Medicaid, the federal program that provides insurance for low-income families and children. There's a little I can't even say that word here between talking about encouraging women to have more children and families to have more children at the same time, really putting up enormous obstacles, she added. Gomez made a serious point about Trump's plans to impose tariffs on the nation's largest trading partners. My son goes through shoes like nobody else's business, and that's every toddler, Gomez says. They just grow and grow. And from 1 year old to 5 year old, a toddler on average goes through 16 pairs of shoes, anywhere from $15 to $16 on average. And 99% of shoes purchased in America are made outside of this country. The tariffs. You totally forgot about that as well, to add to that. Almost then, when you start looking at cribs, car seats, strollers, almost all of it is made outside the country, Gomez said it. And you're going to impose on tariff that's going to increase the prices? Yep, this is definitely going to help people have babies. Asked about the potential price hikes on goods for children as a result of the tariffs, Trump said in an interview that aired on Sunday, they don't need to have 30 dolls, they can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils, they can have 5. Again, like, only the richest of riches maybe have 30 dolls, but we're talking about the poorest in society here. Some of them don't even have a doll, let alone 3. When pressed about the rising cost of common items for parents, strollers, Trump dismissed it as less important. He replied, "When you say strollers are going up, what kind of a thing? I'm saying that gasoline is going down. Gasoline is thousands of times more important than a stroller." I don't think. I don't think he understands this, so let me just explain to him. Gasoline is not important to babies. A stroller is important for many people so that they can take their kids to places. Comparing gasoline to strollers. What a fucking dumb comparison. Ugh, doesn't he even understand? He doesn't even understand. How does he go from baby stuff to talking about gasoline? Where is how does he make that analogy? It's insane. Trump has also touted an executive order he signed in February that aims to expand access to in vitro fertilization. At Women's History Month event in March, he credited Senator Katine Britt Allah with bringing the issue to his attention and said, "He'll be known as the fertilization president. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay." But the order he didn't sign didn't make any changes to the current policy and also fell short on his promise on the campaign trail to either have the government pay for IVF treatment or mandate that insurance companies cover them. The administration also made cuts to federal programs to improve access to fertility treatments. A CDC team that tracks IVF's successful rates working across the country was gutted last month as part of a wider government spending cuts. Pregnancy can also be dangerous, and maternity mortality care in the US is 18.6 per 100,000 live births. It's among the highest of wealthy Western nations, and infant mortality is on the rise according to the CDC. But the White House is also cutting funding to the largest women's health study in the nation. Yay! More cutting, because, yeah, why not? What really matters is the things that are also happening simultaneously to undermine people having children, Hodoran said, citing the Trump administration cutting maternal child health programs, the proposed cut of Medicaid that covers 40% of all the birth rates that happen in the United States, the kind of things that are happening with the CDC and the threats to things like Head Start. All these things at the same time are making a proposal as meaningless as a $5,000 credit that, and then at the same time destroying all the support structures that would allow you to be able to have that child, Hunterland said. It's just completely bananas. Yeah, this is basically Trump saying, oh yeah, you can't have, basically we're going to get rid of all these programs over time, but don't worry, we're going to give you $5,000, guys. Yeah, we're going to give you $5,000 for your child, for you and your child, and then you're just going to have to make the rest on your own, guys. You're going to have to make do on your own. If anything happens to you and your child, that's not my problem. That's basically Donald Trump's reference. So there. Medical bills for hospital birth is $100,000, I heard. Who has $100,000 lying around? Like, absolutely insane. I follow quite a lot of space experts, professionals, etc. on YouTube, and they are all quite miffed about Trump's defunding research. Yeah, it's absolutely insane, which is why Ursula von der Leyen did that good speech about obviously telling people with science and research, come to Europe and we will make sure, because we value your expertise. And they should go to Europe instead, because their expertise are being undermined. Their work is being undermined in America. They should go to Europe. It just makes all the logical sense in doing so. Last thoughts on this, like, it's just... it's only going to get worse, guys. It's only going to get worse for people out there. I just can't stress that enough. It really is going to be rough out there for Americans. And like I always said, if you haven't left the country already, I can't help you. I can only say we'll do our best to cover as much as we can. But yeah, it's really, really going to be rough for them out there. Now for a very, very important video from Garen, of course, who has his own YouTube channel and is famous on TikTok for some of the most important information out there. And this video here is about the 50 sexiest accents in the world, guys. I think this is a general discussion that we generally need to talk about. So let's have a listen to what he thinks about some of the 50 sexiest accents in the world, and let me know your thoughts as we talk about this.
50 sexiest accents in the world. We're up there, of course, we're fucking charmers. We are right behind the Kiwis and the South Africans. I'm not going to say anything, but clearly this is rigged. And I'll tell you what else is fucking suspicious, and of course, it has to do with the English. They're on it multiple times. Here we have the Queen's English, that's the posh one. My darling, I'll take you to the Beddington. Fucking hell, I hated that. Then we have Yorkshire, I can't do that one. And we also have Geordie, so you got 3 fucking entries and you're still not sexy. Scouse is on it as well, what the fuck? Hang on, why does Boston have an English flag? They added again, check on everyone in Boston. Obviously, they're still holding a grudge about the tea. Ireland should also have multiple entries. We have the most accents of any country in the world. If I pick a direction and walk for an hour, I will no longer be able to communicate with anyone. If I talk to somebody from Kerry, I'm just smiling and nodding. I don't have a clue what they're fucking saying. Follow me. I'm delicious.
The good news is, for my Scottish friends there, you can see there that Scotland is 6th in the top 50 there. And the closest is the Queen's English, which is, by God, distasteful. I don't know what you would describe my accent. I suppose it would have to be a Londoner accent, so it's definitely nothing too fancy about my accent in any way, shape, or form there. But it is interesting to see the numbers down there. French obviously is up there. Yeah, definitely the French had to be in the top 10 there as well. But yeah, the Scottish has a very apparently a very sexy accent, guys. So there you go for my Scottish friends there. Brazilian Portuguese was number 10 there. I'm not sure about other affiliate Portuguese language was not there. I'd have to bring it up to see it for myself there. Portuguese sounds like drunk German speaking Latin, says Jal there. Yeah, I hope you found that one very fascinating indeed. And just a reminder, if you haven't already, hit that like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. And do check out the Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms as well. And if you guys want to financially support me and support the Democratic Penguins Republic, feel free to join the YouTube membership for as little as 99p or leave a super chat down below as well. Thank you guys all for being here. It's much appreciated. All right, plugging over. Let's go into the next topic here. This is I'm gonna make sure I got the right feed. Yeah, this is very interesting. This happened today. So the Conservative Merz was elected German chancellor after initial debacle. So what happened? So basically, but I think correct me if I'm wrong in chat, but I think this is the first time in history that a German chancellor did not pass the first hurdle. He did get elected chancellor in the end, but the fact that he didn't get through the first time shows just how kind of divided really Germany are now. I mean, when the German election happened, you could see that the AfD party, who are the far right party, you know, they're having such an influence in German politics. It's quite an extraordinary thing for it to happen. I'll just see. I don't know if it will play the video or not. Actually, let me mute it for a second just in case it plays adverts. Oh, yeah, it will play, actually. Let's have a listen. I don't know if there's anything to add on this, but I was generally quite... I thought this was quite interesting to look at. 1 second.
Germany's Conservative leader Friedrich Merz on Tuesday failed to gain the majority needed to become Chancellor. It marked an unexpected setback for his new coalition with the centre-left Social Democrats. In this first round of parliamentary votes, Merz needed 316 votes in the 630-seat Bundestag, but only secured 310.
How does he fall 6 votes short? So that would and by the way, at the time of this, they didn't say that you don't know who voted what on this as well, which is kind of very interesting as well. But what I do find quite interesting was like the two parties that have joined together to form a government, to form a coalition government. I was like, so not everyone within that party agrees with him being the chancellor.
The lower house of parliament now has 14 days to elect either Merz or another candidate's chancellor with
this video was made before he had another account, by the way, just for reference.
An outright majority and could attempt another vote on Tuesday. Merz's Conservatives won national elections in February with 28.5% of the vote, but the party needs at least one partner to form a majority government. On Monday, they signed a coalition deal with the Social Democrats, who won just 16.4%. It marked their worst result in German post-war history.
Yeah. Very interesting. So yeah, the Conservative leader Friedrich Merz was elected Chancellor by Parliament in a second round of voting after a humiliating and unprecedented defeat on the first attempt, getting his coalition government off to a weak start. Merz, who's 69, who led his Conservatives to a federal election victory in February and has signed a coalition deal with the centre-left Social Democrats, won 325 votes, 9 more than needed for an absolute majority in the secret ballot. Well, you never get an overall majority in German elections because of the way their system goes. He has secured just 310 votes in the first round of voting, meaning at least 18 coalition lawmakers failed to back him. After the vote, he headed to the nearby Belgrave Palace to be formally nominated by President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Later, he will return to historic Reichstag building in the heart of Berlin to take the oath of office to become Germany's 10th Chancellor since the end of World War II. Merz has been under heavy pressure to show German leadership after the implosion of last November, and the outgoing SDP Chancellor Olaf Scholz's three-way coalition left a political vacuum at the heart of Europe, even as it faces a myriad of crises. People have been asking Germany to leave for a long time, and there is no more space to not heed that call, said Sudida David Welp of the German Marshall Fund of the United States. Everything has been undergrinding post-war Germany in the past 8 decades is no longer the case. Whether it be open markets and free trade, whether it be the US security presence in Europe. Global trade war sparked by US President Donald Trump sweeping imposing tariffs, and a threatening to third year down in Europe's largest economy, which has already had to grapple with the end of cheap Russian gas since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, with the growing rivalry from China. And meanwhile, Trump has threatened not to come to the aid of NATO alliances, prompting even transatlantic Merz to question the reliability of the United States as a top security ally and urge Europe to improve its ability to defend. The German coalition deal has mapped out plans to revive growth, such as reducing a corporation tax and lowering energy prices. Also vowed a strong support for Ukraine and higher military spending. Merz failed to win back for his chancellorship at the first attempt in a first for post-war Germany, and an embarrassment for a man who has promised to restore German leadership on the world stage. The whole of Europe looked at Berlin today in the hope that Germany would reassert itself as the anchor of stability and a pro-European powerhouse, said Jana Proskin, head of the Berlin office and the European Council of Foreign Relations think tank. That hope had been dashed with consequences way beyond our borders. Party insiders said on Monday he would swiftly secure a majority despite grumblings in both coalition parties about the cabinet nominations. Policy comprises a huge borrowing package pushed through the old parliament in its final days. This shows that the coalition is not united, which could weaken its ability to pursue policies, said Holger Schmeichkin, chief economist at the Bromberg in London. So already this coalition is not going well here. The only winner of Tuesday's debacle is the far right and the anti-establishment alternative for Germany, which came second in February and has topped some recent surveys, says follower pollster Marev Gunlia. Trust in political institutions has been further damaged, he said. The two coalition parties have lost support since they've already dismal performances in February. Especially the Conservatives are due to part frustration with Merz's decision to loosen borrowing limits, despite campaign promises of physical reduction. His failed vote was clearly a sign that not everyone in the CDU agrees with his physical U-turn, said Carsten Broski, global head of macro ING research. The abrasive and erratic style of Merz, who has never held government office, has also failed to convince some that he is chancellor material. The relationship between the parties will be severely damaged because of this, and it will exacerbate the conflicts that are already bubbling beneath the surface, said Philippe Coquelin, political scientist at the University of Hanover. Yeah, this is that's not good. Well, he is chancellor now. He's chancellor now. He got it second time, but yeah, the fact that for the first time since the post-Second World War, they've elected a German chancellor on the second vote, not the first one. That's never happened in the country's history post World War II. That says quite a lot. Because it shows that all the way up to that point, that this is a very fragile government. That is for sure. you know, he talks about wanting to get a lot done. But if the coalition doesn't get on board for the benefit of Germany, the benefit of Europe, this could come crashing in his face a lot sooner. Could come crashing a lot sooner. You guys still talking about Trump? Hydrofoil system banker. Instead of initiative, people are everywhere in this world. That we are all brothers and sisters on this planet. Yes, we are, Mr. E. Christopher Chat, are you getting more Temu ads on YouTube recently? I would not know that answer. Unfortunately, we will take it. We all unfortunately take advantage through acts of war, says Mr. E. Yeah, indeed. So that was that crazy little story there from Germany, but we'll have to see over time how things are going. Another place where, luckily, guys, World War III has not kicked off at the moment between Pakistan and India. So far. Let's hope it maintains that way here, guys. Pakistan has accused India of altering the Chenab River flow as tensions rise. So this is a vital piece of water supply for the Pakistan people, for its country. They really need to make sure that the flow of water does not get disrupted. And the problem is India kind of controls the dam here, and it's just like yeah, things have been, yeah, they really are on thin ice. I do hope that people, I don't know how much other international governments have been trying to call for calm between the two sides to try and keep things cool. But yeah, ever since the incident occurred, it just feels like this is ready to explode at any point between these two countries. So Pakistan on Tuesday accused India of altering the flow of the Chenab River, one of 3 rivers placed under Pakistan's control according to the now suspended India's Waters Treaty. This major river originates in India, but was allocated to Pakistan under the 1960 India's Water Treaty signed by the 2 nuclear powers. India suspended the treaty following a deadly attack in Indian administrated Kashmir on April the 22nd that killed 26 people. Islamabad warned that tampering with its rivers would be considered an act of war. Yeah, if you cut off the water supply to the people, things are going to get very, very nasty. So we have witnesses changes in the rivers, which are not natural at all. Karen Pariska, integration minister for Punjab's province, had told AFP. Punjab, bordering India and home to nearly half of Pakistan's 240 million citizens, is the country's agricultural heartland, and the majority impact will be felt in areas which have future alternative water routes, Pariska had added. One day the river had a normal inflow, and the next day it was greatly reduced, Pariska had added. Yeah, because they need that water. Like I said, they need that for their survival. And if you change anything about it, they're going to notice. In Pakistan's administrated Kashmir, large quantities of water from India were repeatedly released on April the 26th, according to the Jinnah Institute, a think tank led by a former Pakistani climate change minister. This is being done so that we don't get to utilise the water, Pariska had added. The gate of the spillways at the Balaria Dam in India administrative Kashmir, which lies upstream of Pakistani Punjab, had been lowered to restrict water flow as a short-term punitive action, a senior Indian official had told the Indian Express. The India's water treatment permits India to use shared river for dams and irrigation, but prohibits diverting water courses or altering downstream volumes. Indian authorities have not yet commented, but Kashvinder Volskar, former head of India's Central Water Commission, told the Times of India, "Since the treaty is on pause, we may do flushing on any project without any obligation." So because the treaty's been paused, they can we can take the piss out of them now. You're just poking the Pakistan and at this point, and this is not funny, guys. We're just gonna the fact that they put it like that. It's just it's not even they're not taking it seriously. You should take it seriously. Like, they have nuclear weapons too, you know. Experts have said that the water cannot be stopped in the long term, and that India can only regulate the timings when it releases flows. However, the Chenab Institute warned even small changes in the times of water releases can disrupt slow calendars and reduce crop yields. It says there. Well, the good news is, guys, is that they haven't gone to war yet, because this was something that was going to happen at any moment. But it looks like they haven't gone to war yet, but they're certainly poking each other very, very much on this. And it does feel like, to me, India are really trying to poke the bear. Like, they're trying to. I feel like that part of me feels like they're trying to provoke one another in this instance as well. I'm very concerned about all this. The worst thing is, it is really wild. The world is really wild west at the moment, because we don't have like that. Like, who do I think of? Like, who comes to mind when I think of, like, do we have that democratic leader that can step in and make a phone call and keep things calm? It's not Trump. So who do we rely on? I just don't know. I just don't see it at the moment. It's very, very concerning indeed. So let's talk about this one last story, guys, I wanted to cover with you guys. One that I mentioned this on the Good Morning Show. I wanted to cover it as well, because I do think this is really, really bad. So what impact might Trump's Hollywood tariffs plans have? So let me read some of this context for people who don't know of the story. So, US President Donald Trump said he will hit movies made in foreign countries with 100% tariffs as he ramps up trade disputes with nations around the world. Trump said in a post on Truth Social that he was authorizing the US Department of Commerce and Trade Representatives to start the process to impose the levy because American movie industries was dying at a very fast death. He later said he would consult Hollywood executives to see if they're happy with his proposal, after the news sent shockwave through the industry. So what this might mean for both the US film industry and the global movie industry, including the UK. This will not help the industry in any way, shape or form. All they're doing here is literally cutting themselves off from the rest of the world. And it's going to make some of these blockbuster films that they make, like, they're not going to be able to make because of the costs to these tariffs. It's like how, like, I mean, what? They're going to do everything all AI, virtual screening and whatnot? Is it all going to be computer generated now? Because obviously they can't actually go to the locations anymore, because Trump won't allow them to go to the location and do the shots there anymore. Is that what it's coming to? No, it all has to be done in America. Is that the situation we're coming to here? And if industries want to come to the US and do it in their countries, whether it's France, UK, or wherever, like, are we going to make it difficult for them to do that as well? As if we wanted to spread, like, say for instance, like, we know that America has a huge influence on the UK, right? So if, like, so films and TV series that are we not going to be able to do them in the US now? But is that we're going to be going down because they're going to impose this tariff on us? Like, oh my god. I mean, it does state here that he later said he would consult Hollywood executives to see if they're happy with his proposal. I imagine that they're not going to be happy with this proposal. I'm just going to put that out there, guys. I'm just putting it out there that perhaps they're not going to enjoy this proposal. I just don't think it's in the best interest here. So is Hollywood dying? Announcing the new tariffs, Trump declared that Hollywood was dying, and so is it. It's true that the industry has been going through really rough times in recent years. The pandemic saw production close down and the impact is ongoing. Hollywood studios spent $11.3 billion on productions in the second quarter of 2024, a 20% drop from the same period in 2022, as studios continue to cut costs in an attempt to recover from COVID losses. Any shoots of recovery were then severely stifled by the 2023 actors and writer strikes. Then the wildfire struck earlier this year. Yep, that was bad. And for several years now, more and more, not just youngsters, have been turning to YouTube and other streamline platforms for content. Yeah, and it's true. Because it's, you know, it's very, very rarely that me and my partner go to the cinema. And I know people who can get movies and whatnot via not legal means to watch films instead of going to the cinema to watch them. I don't approve of it. I think it's good to go to the cinema to watch the films because you're helping them out. But yeah, the industry as a whole, including the UK, are struggling. Getting people to go to the cinema is not the same as it used to be. Like, if you've got lots of money, it's not that fun. But if you're somebody who's middle and low income, it's hard. The US remains a major film production hub, and according to Variety, 2025 has seen a rebound in box office numbers since last year, with the overall domestic revenue up 15.8% on 2024 so far. So, is YouTube making Hollywood irrelevant? That's a good question. The latest Marvel superhero film, Thunderbolts, topped the North American box office this weekend, raking an estimated $76 million, making a promising start to the summer season. But Hollywood is definitely still up against it. Yeah, I haven't seen Thunderbolts, so I might go and see it this weekend, maybe. The president said he wants to immediately begin the process of introducing a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced on foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. But there are films all the time being made in America. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty sure you agree with me. A lot of films are made in America anyway. Series like Andor are a direct replacement for theatre movies. A lot of people I know prefer staying in watching Netflix series or Disney series these days rather than going to the pictures. Yeah. I think, people like the comfort of their own home. Lot of these days people go to the cinema to watch. People don't do that now as much as they used to. But but it's I don't want the cinema industry to die, but it is a dying industry. Like, how are they supposed to compete when people can just have access? When people can just have access whenever they want, from the power of their, not even just from the power of their TV, but literally from their phones and their computer devices nowadays. How do you get people back into the cinemas? I suppose one of the ways is trying to keep it cheap, but the problem is that if less people spend money in the cinemas, it means that it's harder for them to keep the costs low for them. The maintenance is hard. I have no patience to sit in a movie theater, says Jal. I do. I just flicker on my phone until the movie starts, and then I watch the movie. Like when me and my partner went to see the Minecraft movie 3 weeks ago. There was literally about maybe 12 people in a, it was in screen one of the cinema where we were, and it was a massive, there was I don't know, 100 seats in our screening, and there was only about 12 people watching it, and this had only been out for 2 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks, the Minecraft movie, and this is one of the best sellers. And it was I was a little bit concerned of maybe too many people might turn up to see this film, if we go at this particular time or whatever. And it was 12 people, just 12 people. Sometimes I think it's the cinema, but then I actually think no, it's just the industry as a whole. They do have some incentives of they offer if you pay something a month or whatever, then you can go to as many cinemas as many times as you want or something. They have some of these places, they offer subscriptions or whatever. But if you go to the cinema, you'd have to go at least once a week. And the thing is, you can end up going to the cinema. You don't want to go to watch a film that you're not going to enjoy. Me and my partner, we do have different tastes when it comes to films. There are there are times where we'll be up for it. There's a good chance that if I take her to see Thunderbolt, the Marvel film, guys, there's a 80% chance she will fall asleep, because she's not really into action films. I haven't been to a movie in over 20 years, says Vicky. Did you go to see Snow White? We have not gone to see Snow White. We have not gone to see Snow White. I'm not. If she wants to go and see it, we'll go and see it. But I don't think she's keen on seeing it. Pre-COVID, they used to go quite a lot. It was a $5 each. Then that's wow. That sounds like a bargain. £15 for a movie, sweet deals. I think it's like 20. I think it was like 20 quid or something. The place where we go to. It's an Odeon cinema for us. But we have to get the bus there, to be fair, as well. Or walk it, which is 25 minute walk. 25, half an hour walk. But yeah, it's an interesting topic. Let me finish this off. So this has led to questions about whether the tariffs would also apply to American film companies producing films abroad. Several recent major movies produced by US studios were shot outside America, including Deadpool and Wolverine, Wicked, and Gladiator 2. I still haven't seen Gladiator, the new one. Hit franchises like Mission Impossible will also shoot overseas. Yeah, you're gonna hit Tom Cruise as well. They also don't know if the tariffs will be applied retrospectively. Trump later told reporters that other nations have been stealing the movies and movie-making capabilities from the United States, which may suggest he was only referring to non-US films. Like, again, what? This is just nonsense. White House spokesperson Kush told the BBC that no final decisions on foreign film tariffs have been made, and added that the administration is exploring all options. We will just have to wait for more details. Many countries offer tax breaks to encourage film production, such as New Zealand, Australia, and the UK, and that's something Trump wants to take on. But it's the only reason a US film company might wish to film abroad. Some choose to do so for specific locations, exotic and exciting backdrops. For example, who could forget Tom Cruise's accent on Iberia Cafe Dubai in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol? Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was pretty incredible. What it could mean for the next James Bond movie, a franchise owned by US giant Amazon, but based on an iconic British character who works for MI6 based in London, ? And it's not just other countries that offer incentives. Other US states are lowering film production away from Hollywood. Georgia, Illinois, and Kentucky are among many of the other US states which California are now competing with. Gary Newsom, California's governor, who Trump described as grossly incompetent when speaking about the movie tariffs on Monday, is currently pushing for his plans to more than double the state's film and TV tax incentives to $700 million annually. While Newsom has made no comment yet on the Trump proposal, his senior communications advisor told Deadline they believe he has no authority to impose tariffs under the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, since tariffs are not listed as a remedy under that law. And there are more questions than answers at this stage. The World Trade Organization has earned momentum on tariffs for digital goods until 2026. Presumably, films count as digital goods. Yeah, they are digital goods. And what do they base the tariffs on? Box office revenue, on the production cost? Is it streaming content included? Would that have a huge impact on US companies like Netflix? What about post-production, i.e. editing? Tim Richards, Venues View Entertainment CEO and founder, told BBC Radio 4 Today programme, a big part of what constitutes US film is where does the money come from, the script, the director, the talent, and where is the shot? And how do you even classify a foreign film when so many are co-productions and are often shot in several countries? Trump appeared to be talking about film, but not TV. But it's not 100% clear at this stage. No pun intended. Would the tariffs apply to films made for streaming or just cinema releases? We'll have to wait for more detail. Of course, Trump may roll back on the proposals as he has done with some other tariffs. And what could this mean for other countries? Or it could be Paddington could get deported back to Peru. Poor Paddington. Obviously, putting a 100% tariff on foreign films could mean huge cost increases for those production companies that want to sell the US market. Commenting on Trump's announcement, the US government's Culture, Media and Sport Committee Chair Dame Caroline Dingert MP said last month the Culture, Media and Sports Committee warned against complacency on our status as the Hollywood of Europe. President Trump's announcement has made that warning all too real. Like, competition is a good thing. He just wants to snuff out the competition. But this is not going to save the. This is not going to save the film industry, the movie industry. Making it more difficult to place films in the UK is not in the interest of American businesses. Their investment in facilities and talent in the UK, based on US-owned IP, is showing fantastic returns on both sides of the Atlantic. Ministers must urgently prioritise this as part of a trade negotiation currently underway. The head of Media and Entertainment Trade Union, BRICO in the UK, Felipe Charles, said in a statement, these tariffs coming after COVID and the recent slowdown could deal a knockout blow to an industry that is only just recovering and will be really worrying news for tens of thousands of skilled freelancers who make films in the UK. Christy Bell's chief executive of production company Goldfinch questioned how the tariffs would work, pointing out that blockbusters like Barbie, which was distributed in the US film studio Warner Brothers Pictures, was actually shot virtually entirely in the UK. I didn't know that. If those US films don't get partially produced in the UK, freelancers are going to be jobless. I'm telling you now, they're going to be jobless, she told PA. The governments of Australia and New Zealand have also spoken out in support of their country's film industries. Nobody should be under any doubt but we're standing up unequivocally for the rights of Australian screen industry, Australia's Home Affairs Minister Tory Burke has said. New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon told a news conference that his government was awaiting further details on the proposed tariffs. We will obviously have a great advocate, great champion in that sector and that industry, he added. And with the Cannes Film Festival just around the corner, uncertainty hangs in the air with many US film producers looking to sell foreign distribution rights. Tariffs could incentivize US film companies to make more films on home soil, but the risk is that it gets more expensive to do so abroad. Some films just won't get made. More incentives or rebates could help offset this, but we just don't know at this stage if it is under discussion or on a national scale. NPR radio film critic Eric Diggins warns that the tariffs should they be introduced, could further harm the industry. Other countries may respond by placing tariffs on American films, he told the BBC, making it harder for these films to make profits overseas. It creates a situation where the tariff in America is causing more harm than good, he added. Yeah, I think it would cause more harm than good if it were to add them to it. But they're very interesting different perspectives on it. But yeah, there's far too many questions and not enough answers on this with regards to tariffs on the film industry. Far too many questions. I think in the end he's going to ditch it. I think there'll be too much pushback from Hollywood, I think, in doing so as well, because like that you're going to kill the industry by cutting them off from working abroad, basically, essentially, is from what the proposals look like, from the seems like seeing the intention there. But again, we don't have the details on this. This is all about, like I've always said, Trump's plan is to make everything made in America. Everything American. This is what this is all about. Americanizing everything. Like, stop having the influence of other countries and everything. They want everything to be all in America. This is what he wants to do. But everything is going to get hurt. Like, it may work in the long term, but in the short and medium term, you're literally killing industries. You're killing jobs. You're killing people's livelihoods. You're stopping the opportunities for great films to be done in doing so as well. Mithril, good evening, buddy. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, I mean, I want, like, yeah, I probably am going to go and see Thunderbolts in cinema, actually. Because I still, like, I still want to go to the cinema. And also as well, it's like it's an excuse for me and my partner to go out as well. Another reason for me and my partner to go out. We don't really sit by the telly and watch TV that much together, so we prefer that as well. So guys, I have the funny memes ready to go, but before I do, we have a very important press briefing we need to hear from Caroline Levitt before we get to that, guys. So let's hear what the real Caroline Levitt had to say in her press briefing today, guys.
They want a pathway back into this country, and not the illegal way like Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama, who were just like, hey, come on in. We're not doing that anymore. Not under President Trump's brave leadership. Joe Biden was actually the one who allowed the man who we arrested yesterday for committing unmentionable crimes on the subway. Do you know who else has committed crimes on the subway because of the Democrats? Jared from Subway. He used Hillary's servers to be able to communicate with children to do, again, unmentionable things. Sure.
Is the White House okay with Israel occupying the Gaza Strip?
Washington Post. Getting a little brave. I'm sensing a little bit of, anyway. No, there is absolutely no daylight between Israel and the United States. We stand with them. And if they want to occupy Gaza, then maybe they should. It's a mess. It's a mess over there. And there also is going to be no daylight in the Trump Gaza casino. I won't get ahead of the president, but it will be so beautiful, so great in there that you're not going to want to leave. So it's exciting plans, sure.
How does the president not know where the Pope AI image came from?
Yeah, the Pope image. Okay, I'm done talking about the Pope image. It was cute. Okay, it was cute. And you people can't meme. You can't take a joke. And if the first lady likes something, she has the best taste. So you should get your head checked. Like Caitlyn. Like, she's not even here because she's interviewing losers like Mike Pence. Anybody else think he's looking more and more like an old woman with his Botox and stuff? It's crazy. Sure.
What is the cost to reopen Alcatraz and what is the timeline?
Okay, Alcatraz, yeah, you people are obsessed with figuring out how much it's going to cost and how much we're going to do things. No, President Trump is committed to bringing law and order back to the United States, and not like the Dick Wolf executive produced program, which is great. Not as great as Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, but it is great. President Biden, the worst president in human history, lost us $80 billion a day. And especially with allowing criminals like Abrego Go, Diego Go, we will not be doing that. And also, we will be offering the role to head the development to Nicolas Cage.
Obviously, if you guys didn't know, that is not the real Caroline Levitt. And she does this every single day. Not just for satire, not just for fun, but with the intention of winding up the real Caroline Levitt, who absolutely, as I like to repeat, she despises this woman. She literally despises this woman. And I'm glad she feels that way about it, because it's a high time that we can make a mock, continuously making a mock it. And you got 4 years of her doing this, for 4 years until Caroline Levitt steps down. And believe me, she will at some point. Good night, Mr. E. Thank you so much for coming along, and thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate it. So, guys, just got one last thing to do before we head out. I didn't do it last week because my voice was a bit battered. My voice is still a little bit battered, but I wanted to do the funny memes this time. I really, really wanted to do them this time. So this is something that we always do on the Snowflake Corner series, is that we always do the funny memes. So I hope you guys enjoy these five funny memes. I'm pretty sure I haven't done any of these ones, but cross fingers I haven't screwed up. But anyways, let's do it, guys. I hope you have a little laugh with these. Another great actor who wasted his life on drugs and alcohol. When you're the only one who finds anything that you post funny. Your post was funny. Thank you. The big dream has finally come true. I don't know how he's going to get that nut home, but he's going to try, guys. He's going to try. Frog parking only. All others will be towed. And finally, I was here before the egg. Oh, that chicken and egg debate. Okay, Mr. Chicken, you were here before the egg. Okay, Mr. Showboat. Okay, Mr. Showboat. Oh, dear, guys. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Dave McGuinness, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to your pay-per-view tomorrow. Obviously, you couldn't do one today, but we'll definitely be listening to yours tomorrow. That is for sure. There. It is good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, that was a good one. The eggs, yeah, the eggs and the nuts ones. Yeah, that was a good one. So I'm glad those funny memes worked out in the end there. I'm glad those funny memes worked out, because sometimes because most of the last couple of ones I've done in the past have not exactly hit well, but it looks like those ones hit well there from the reactions that I've gotten there. So that's good news, guys. So guys, I will be back tomorrow for Prime Minister's questions. No Good Morning live stream, guys. I'm not going to do 3 live streams. I think it's a bit excessive for me. And I think it's a bit excessive for you guys too. So yeah, there'll be 2 live streams tomorrow. Will be Prime Minister's questions at 12. And then the Snowflake Watch at 8 p.m. there as well. So, guys, thank you all for coming along. Thank you, Alistair Keir and Mr. E, for your super chats earlier on. Much appreciated. Thank you, guys, for all your comments, both on Twitch and YouTube as well. Much appreciated, guys. And enjoy the rest of your evenings. If you're going to check out Geoscopes on Politics Social with Graham Hughes and whoever his guest is, feel free to check that out. Or hopefully I will be lurking in the chat Max's Rob Spears live stream tonight, if he does a live stream tonight at 8:30 p.m. as well. So thank you guys all for coming along again. Almost knocked over the orb again. But yeah, the gang are here. Is the orb on? Is the mic on? What? I thought the orb was working there. Hey, there we go. The orb is on, but hold on, I better need to watch the mic to see if it turns off. Yep. And then there's Cash Dummy the Cookie Monster, Pingu, of course, and Blaze Charmander, who continuously hides behind there as well, and the lava lamp and the orb, the all-powering orb has empowered us today here as well, guys. So that is wonderful, wonderful news. So guys, just before I go, I just have one last thing to say. If you haven't already, hit that like button, be greatly appreciated, and share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, and support the Democratic Penguins Republic, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. You can even join us on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.